turn your head to the side.
It is a made-for-TV match, but it's also a made-for shooters match where they can have more fun here than they'll have anywhere.
Speed, excitement, the scorekeeping is nothing fancy to it. Plates down, is your score.
We've said it before, there is no denying the appeal of steel shooting. And in the case of the Pro-Am format, that draw is amplified by the sight of reacting targets. Not only do you hear it hit, but you also see it fall.
I think what makes Pro-Am unique and draws in people from other disciplines is because it actually encompasses the one thing about practical shooting or tactical shooting that people like, and it's to have a reaction. You know, they shoot a target and they see something happen, and it's exciting. You know, it's exciting to shoot, and it's exciting to watch. And no matter what sport you're talking about, when you hit those targets and they go down, it makes for a more exciting time on the range.
The universal appeal of this shooting format is that it is simple to score. Each stage has a predetermined time limit, or par time, within which all shooting must occur. The number of targets down within that time limit is your score. Shots that come after the second buzzer are overtime and deduct from the target count. There are 2 matches shot on the same 8 courses of fire. The limited match, welcoming all iron-sighted guns, and the open match, allowing the highly modified guns. Compensators and red dot optics are the norm. One unique element, a 10-round capacity limit per magazine for both divisions. Open division par times are 2, or in some cases 3 seconds less than the limited division. There are also 2 designations for shooters, either pro shooting against other top shooters for cash skins on each stage, or AM, short for amateur, running against the other AMs divided by USPSA classification, with a great prize table as the incentive.
The prize table is doing very, very well. I think we've got about $74,000 in prizes. The way the prize table is done in this match is all based on your classification. So every single finisher from 1st to 5th, from master all the way down to D class, will probably, we'll definitely win a gun or something nicer.
The appeal of steel shooting, it's rooted in this, the sight and the sound of a well-placed shot. Now, every shooter here enjoys that, but especially the juniors. Eric Humphreys and his son Noah have made the trip down from South Carolina for Noah's first Pro-Am.
Fun to watch him thrive and get better every time we come out.
Kyle Holsclaw Jr. shoots alongside Noah with the guidance and encouragement of Dad Kyle Sr.
We stress safety first. So always fun is what we're out there to do. We're out there to have time with our kids and other people's kids. You know, this is a family sport. My 8-year-old daughter wants to come out and shoot with us. She can't wait to be able old enough to hold a gun and successfully pull one off. But we go out there, we have a good time. We spend time loading the ammo together. From start to finish, we do everything.
The family atmosphere is a big deal also for the Coley and Clagg family, where 3 generations are shooting together.
My husband, myself, my daughter, her husband, her son, her daughter, and then my son.
Okay, so I hate to use the word grandma.
I'm the grandma.
Okay.
If you are a fan of the action shooting game, you will recognize Marlene's son Shane. Turns out the USAMU's top open shooter has had a hand in getting his family ready for the match.
They came to me in January, wanted to know how to shoot a little bit, so they came down to Fort Benning. I gave them a quick class, worked with my nephew and my brother-in-law, my sister and my niece, worked with all of them. So this is their real first big match together as an entire family. So it's awesome, I'm really proud of them.
Shane's nephew Seth shows a lot of the same style tendencies as his uncle when he shoots a stage. That comes from watching his uncle shoot over the years.
Well, for the last 5 or 6 years, we've gone to every match that Shane has shot, and around here and even up in other areas. And so Seth has kind of been on the sidelines watching Shane, idolizing him.
Seth shows his talents on the stage, go for it, racking up a very competitive score of 21, 6 plates better than his dad Steve, and just off his grandfather Rocky's score of 22.
To be able to see everybody out here shooting, we're all enjoying this as a family, that's tremendous.
That's it.
It's absolute.
The stage go for it. 30 steel targets, 38 possible points, but I'll get to that in just a second. 21 seconds limited, 18 seconds for open. Shooters will start with their gun on barrel 3, and all of their magazines will be positioned on the barrels throughout the course of fire. So no reloads will come from the belt here. The interesting part of this stage is the end position, position 4. This activator starts those swingers. Each one of those swinger plates is worth 3 points, but an overtime shot here is -3.
And it's a sure bet that the top limited shooters will work for those bonus plates. But the safe play will be to move into that position early in the run, and that's Bob Vogel's plan.
Bob drives into the bonus plates, but the swingers are making him wait, and that is not Bob's style.
Through position 2, and it's 1-for-1 hits. And at the buzzer, it's 1 overtime, cutting Bob's score to 33, best so far.
Sean Hopkins earned his spot on the pro squad by winning the limited AM match last year, and it's moves like this that got him here.
Sean elects to go straight to the bonus plates and then work his way back down the stage. 3 of the swingers are down, and 1 of the little poppers.
10 from the bonus position means that if Sean can clear the rest of the stage, he will take the lead.
And he's done it. The last shot is just in time. 34 is the new score to beat.
The last shooter with a chance to grab the skin away from Sean is Blake Miguez, and he elects to shoot position 3 before going to the bonus plates.
But Blake hits the hard cover, so he has to wait on one of the swingers. It pays off with a 3-point hit, but now he has to push.
Into position 2 now, 1-for-1 here and fast. At the buzzer, the shots are safe, and 35 is the count. Good enough to win the money.
Wow. I just aimed on the left side of the barricade, fired, and the target hit the bullet.
The next stage has ended in a tie, so the skin has pushed into the stage known as Which Way, putting $1,000 on the line.
And Glenn Shelby certainly knows which way. After a few pickups on position 1, Glenn hits his stride.
At the buzzer, there are 28 targets down, making Glenn the new leader.
The USAMU's Matt Sweeney knows that with 2 skins on the line, now would be a great time to have a breakout performance.
His first position has a couple of pickups, and a stuck mag does not help his reload.
Even so, Matt finds his rhythm. 1-for-1 in position 2, and he grabs an extra point on the way out before the reload.
At the end, there's 1 left standing at the back, but these quick shots here give Sweeney the edge, and the money, 29 points, wins the stage.
Once again, the preceding stage has ended in a tie. So the stage money up for grabs on Drop Dead Red 2 is $1,000. The trick here is to avoid the red penalty plates.
And Houston Shaw would like to stake a claim on that cash. But the red steel plates are a 3-point penalty, and Houston just took one.
Shooting out to the buzzer, Houston knows the penalty is a killer, leaving him with 27 points, likely to not be enough.
Bob Vogel is poised to lay claim to the money here, and he makes that fact known immediately. 1-for-1 on the Polish plate rack.
And more accurate shooting here, that is what is needed to win on this stage, keeping away from the red penalty steal.
Into the final plate rack with a few pickups, and 1 last shot on the buzzer. It's good. Bob takes the money with a score of 32. It's a tradition at the Pro-Am for a stage from the year prior to make a reappearance, and this year it's the stage batter up. 32 steel targets, 24 seconds for limited, 21 seconds for open. You can see the large USP popper all the way at the back there. If shooters choose to take that target from second base, it's worth 1 point. But shooters are given the opportunity to attempt to run all of the bases and shoot that target from home plate, then it's worth 5. But a miss and an overtime shot there, that's a -5.
Bob is the leadoff man on batter up. And judging by his infield shots, he is going for the home run bonus.
Through first base, he is 1 for 1, and once into second, there are a couple of early pickups, but Mike, he leaves the home run steal.
Bob has to push now. 1 pickup at third, and he is headed for home. And the long shot is good, and incredibly with time to spare, making Bob wish he had a few of his shots back.
This is definitely one you don't want to be first on. I just didn't know the time. I actually would have taken a little more time, maybe cleaned up 1 or 2, probably gone for the whole thing. If I'd have known, I had after the shot, I think I had a good second or more. So, but respectable run.
Respectable, yes, but untouchable? Manny Bragg would say no. And into first base, Manny already has a 1-plate lead on Bob.
But just that quick, a miss at second has the race back to even. Manny has to hit everything left to force a tie.
1 pickup at third, he's headed for home. This one has to count. It couldn't have been closer, but it's good. Manny forces a tie and sends the money to the next stage.
Well, I'm older and fatter than last year. That's all I had for the day.
As one of the shooters to score 33 on the last stage, Bob Vogel will lead off on Feel the Pressure. And now the pressure is really on because this stage is worth $1,000.
Out of position 1, Bob leaves 1 swinging target, and a slip into the next array doesn't help.
Into the back right array, and an empty chamber costs Bob time. Then overextension on the transition means misses. Bob posts a 31 for the stage, and he knows it should have been better.
The third man to enter the tie from the last stage is Blake Miguez, and Blake has his eye on the money here.
A deadfall hammer costs a little time, but Blake re-racks and clears the array in a blur.
He's on the move now into the final 4 targets right, down 1 for 1. Final 4 left, a few pickups, and on the buzzer, the stage is cleared. 36 points wins 2 cash skins for Blake.
Colorblind 3, 34 steel targets, 24 seconds for limited, 21 seconds for open. On the start signal, the shooter is going to enter one of the 2 red shooting boxes and address the USP poppers right in front of them. If I were to shoot this side, I would have all of the blue USP poppers down. And that would allow me to then enter the blue shooting box and address these blue plates. You cannot shoot across this yellow caution tape, and your USP poppers have to be down before you can address those target plates. One thing to keep in mind, the yellow targets right down the middle here are forward falling, and those are going to take a little more time.
This stage description is an important one. Miss a step here, and your whole run will be derailed.
And that is exactly what is about to happen to Casey Eusebio. Into the second box, and the yellow are now open, but the green poppers are still standing.
The hits on the yellow steel are not great, but here is the major mistake. Casey runs right past the green poppers. Now all of these shots do not score.
At the buzzer, it's a 14. Not the way to start this match.
Shane Coley is the next shooter up on Colorblind 3, and you can tell right away he has learned from Casey's mistake.
The blue plates are flying as fast as Shane can pull the trigger. Into box 2, and there is 1 green left. That will have to be picked up.
All the yellow steel are down, and John, there is the pickup on the green. A fresh mag into the final position. A few pickups early will hurt the round count. Shane runs the gun dry with 2 green steel standing, scoring 32.
Dave Zavigny has exactly the same shooting plan as Shane, and he is executing. Just 1 extra shot in the blue steel array.
Dave is very fast on his feet, and into the yellow steel, the hits are dead on, 1 for 1.
Into the green steel and just 1 pickup. On the buzzer, there's just 1. Well, that shot is way over, but it doesn't hurt Dave's score because it's a hit. 33 wins the skin.
Want to make sure they all work, right?
Now, one thing to keep in mind about Florida, it can rain anytime.
And the last thing an open shooter wants is a wet optic.
And the last thing you and I want is a wet HD camera.
Well, as they say, the show must go on. If they're shooting, we're shooting. And on stage 4, Max Michel is prepared to start his run.
There are some uncharacteristic pickups in position 2. Chalk it up to a dampened sight picture.
Well, if it was dampened, at position 3, the picture has cleared up. The majority of these shots are hits, and on the buzzer, Max has 27 targets down.
Bob Vogel will not be bothered by the rain, at least when it comes to sighting his Glock. That's because Bob shoots his limited gun in the open match.
And before you write him off, know that Bob has won the open match this way in the past.
And in his typical fashion, Bob is hooking up on the targets. On the buzzer, the last shot is safe, and the count is 28.
Like Max Michel, Shane Coley only shoots the open pro match. And like Max was, Shane is the top open shooter from the USAMU's Action Pistol team.
Certainly some parallels, but into position 2, Shane sets himself apart. 1-for-1 shooting is the key, and Shane does just that.
At the final position, Shane has a couple of pickups, but the last few shots are hits, and that's the difference. 31 steel down wins the skin.
With the rain continuing to fall, the top 2 open shooters continue their battle. On drop dead red, it's Shane in the leadoff position. A misstep off the first bench will not help this effort.
Even so, Shane pulls it together, making hits. And into the final Polish plate rack, the buzzer leaves him 3 short of a clean run.
Started off pretty good. That's the first time I've ever shot one of those Polish plate racks, so I was a little bit nervous. Coming off the bench, I slipped a little bit, so I had to regain my self-composure, but overall I think it went pretty well.
Max Michel has matched Shane shot for shot over the last stage, and that makes the stage worth double skins. Max would certainly like to capitalize here.
One left on that first plate rack will hurt. He'll have to make that up on the last one.
Max is safe out of the penalty plates, but he must clean this last rack to tie Shane. And with that, the next stage is now worth 3 skins.
The top 2 shooters are 1 and 2 leading off on batter up. Shane is first.
That's 7 down in the infield, and he's on to first base. 1 left there may come back to haunt him.
He's clean at second base, and the home run steal is still up. Mike, you know what that means.
But with 2 left at third, the best he can do now is a 32. And on the buzzer, he's good. 32 is the mark to beat.
Now it's Max, and mathematically just running the stage clean first through third base will tie Shane.
Let's see if that's the plan. The infield is clean. At first base is down 1-for-1. At second, the plan is clear. Max is playing it safe.
Max cruises into third with the time to make his hits. And there it is. 32 ties the leader.
It just wasn't worth the gamble for me. I decided to shoot all the plates and just take my time. I got to that position, knew I was running out of bullets. I just took my time, hit them all, and I think I'm still tied for the winner on this stage. So,
Blake Miguez was one of the top shooters on this stage in the limited match. But will he go for the home run with 3 seconds less to work with?
Keep in mind there are 3 skins at stake, and 7 down in the infield tips Blake's hand.
First base is a blur, 1-for-1, and he's on the run. At second, it's more of the same, and the home run steal is still up.
Into third base, it's more 1-for-1 shooting. He has a chance. And it's good, right on the buzzer. Blake Miguez takes the stage and the 3 skins, breaking the tie between Shane and Max.
I can't say anything. That was awesome.
You've made it this far in the video, and for that, we thank you. If you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel, and we'll keep the uploads coming.